I've always wanted to. That was always my concern.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. For all of you who are at home, we were not talking, so that was why you didn't hear anything. First order of agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I would so move to approve tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Kim. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Diane seconded. It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Any objection? Hearing none, the consent agenda is adopted. And now we're on to school board appreciation.
Yeah, well, this is School Board Appreciation Month, and we have some items from each building that the admin are going to present. I know, Addie, you got yours already from Mrs. Davidson, but we have during the superintendent report today, we have a little video of appreciation as well. But I'm going to let the admin present you with their items. So administrators, please go ahead and approach the board with your items. And as I do that, just want to thank all of you for what you do for our kids, for our schools, for our communities.
Okay.
Right. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you very much. You. Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
yeah.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very good. I'm gonna do more. I think I've done enough.
Still perfect. Here, we can hang it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They are the best.
Yeah, the clips are a little precarious. They should hang.
Yeah.
Again, thank you all for what you do for our kids, for our schools, community. Such a valuable resource to us, and so appreciated by all of our staff and our students and community. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
This was
Very
really
generous.
nice.
Thank
Yeah,
Very
we
cool.
really appreciate all of this. And
Thanks for being on here.
I think all of us love working with all of you. So
Absolutely.
it's a real joy for all of us to know that we're dealing with a group of administrators who really care about their schools and about the kids that they're working with. And so it makes our job easier knowing that that's the case on your end. So thank you guys so much.
These baskets are awesome.
Yes.
Yeah,
They are.
So cool.
okay. Can we do that some more?
Yeah, Board Appreciation Year.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, Warren, you're up.
To start, we have 5 main developments at MHS. Our first is the Pops concert that will be held on January 14th from 7 to 8 in the evening. Following this is the Dracula play towards the end of this week on the 16th to the 17th for $10. Next, we have our next semester beginning on the 2nd. February with a schedule change involving more added time, shorter Friday schedule, and will be more similar to our last year's schedule. Another addition happened over break with our new boys bowling team who would play their first competition with 9 boys and a girls bowling team that just started with 5 people, led by Mr. Hardyson. Finally, we have sophomore Misha Von de Sal, who recently won a gold medal in a national chess competition and is now a nationally ranked chess player. Now that we've concluded past and future events, our ASB team has brought gifts to represent the Appreciation Month Mr. Roberts spoke about.
You're all good.
Before you go on, did you say bowling or rowing?
Both.
Bowling.
Any questions?
Dracula with the 15th through the 17th,
16th.
16th. Thank you. I love your time.
Thank you.
Okay. Are you here representing Destinations?
Faith is. That's my bad.
Could you introduce yourself and give us your report?
Hi, my name is Faith. I'm a junior at Destinations and an early grad, and I'll be Destinations student representative. In the month of December, we decorated the ARC's Christmas tree. Culinary class made frosting for Madison's gingerbread houses. Leadership made and delivered meal boxes to all the schools in Coos Bay District. We also had our winter lunch celebration. Some of you were there. Leadership also has been reading to our preschool, and we decorated our doors at Destinations for the Little Pirates to the Carol.
Thank you. And you're going to be our representative now? Are there any questions?
I just have a quick comment, Warren, and this will be you at some point, Faith, so I appreciate it. I have received so much positive feedback from the city council members about the students that have been coming and sharing the reports at city council. So thank you for doing that. Faith, when you go do it, it's really a good, positive experience, quick, right at the beginning of the city council meeting, but they're very appreciative to hear what's going on in Coos Bay schools and to hear from the students. So.
Did anybody tell you about that? Are you just learning about that right now? That's probably where.
I know.
Okay.
I talked to her about it before the facility tour on Friday, so.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for your updates.
They're much nicer than we are, so you know.
Okay, public input. We have one person who has signed up, and Marino.
Oh, no.
Nope. Nope.
I
Okay,
just wanted to let you know.
I won't read the stuff about public input. So having nobody wanting to address us, we'll move right on to Paul. Is Paul here?
Yes. It's not
Oh,
called.
there. Mr. Peterson? Paul?
Already here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're rolling you
Well, they're not
around.
gonna be able to see yet. But we can see that.
Thanks, David. Good evening. My name is Paul Peterson, the superintendent of South Coast ESD. And thanks for inviting me here tonight. I'm here to talk about the local service plan, and which is on your agenda for tonight. And just as a quick overview, every year the local service plan, or LSP as we call it, gets reviewed and approved by the regional superintendents for the 10 school districts in our region. And then the ESD board, and then the boards of each of the 10 school districts within the South Coast service area. So the plan on your agenda tonight is largely unchanged from last year that you approved, and really for multiple years now. And this plan was reviewed by the area's 10 school district superintendents this fall. They voted to approve the plan on November 20th, and the South Coast ESD board voted to approve it at their December 9th meeting. This LSP is designed to provide the maximum flexibility to each of our districts and how they want to use their resolution dollars. And that each district chooses from a menu of services what they need from the ESD. We call those Tier 2 services. Altogether, Tier 2 services comprise nearly 95% of the ESD's resolution dollars, with just about 5%. It's actually about 6% now in Tier 1, or what we sometimes call core services. That benefit all 10 districts. Those Tier 1 services include homeschool registration, audiology, testing, birth to 3 evaluations, and the Safe Schools program. So South Coast ESD is real proud to partner with your school district and delivering high quality services in a cost effective manner. That's my presentation. I'm happy to answer questions.
Well, I just want to say thank you for hosting all of the districts the other day. That was very enjoyable time, and your people did a great job.
Good evening. Yeah, thank you. Good testimony.
Good things have come of it already, so.
Oh, I'm glad. Very good.
Any more about YTP transition program? Is it just from?
Yep. Yeah. So many changes in the state system of that have just made it really impossible to do without it being really cost prohibitive. Always looking for an opportunity to restart those kind of programs when they get kind of changed by the state. So at the ESD, we kind of stand ready to try new things. So anytime there's ideas coming at us, we'll take a look at it, see if we can't make it pencil out. We never operate with a profit motive. We're always trying to cover our costs and keep services high quality. So yeah, I wish we had that program. It was such a good program.
Yes.
It did so much good for kids, and just things got impossible.
Thank you. I appreciate the information.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We like these short reports. Okay. Next on our agenda.
You guys will need to vote on that.
Pardon me?
It's an action item.
It's later on.
I so move that we
Oh.
approve the local service begin cross-parties.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the local service plan presented to us by the ESD. Arnie?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Katie?
Aye.
Diane?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Paul. Happy retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. You just got here. And not even leaving.
It's been 4 years.
Yeah, it's quick though.
So one trip to France will do to you.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
How can you keep them down on the farm
Yeah.
after they've seen Perry?
Yeah.
Thanks. Good
Thanks, Paul. Take care.
Okay. Bree, OSEA.
Fixing it up.
Good evening. I did not come up here earlier for the board appreciation because I come up here and talk fun.
I don't think you are. Bruce.
It's not intentional. It's a Monday. It's been a long day.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
So our after school program kids helped us out.
Thank you
with
very
this.
much.
Wonderful.
So thank you for your guys' time and dedication to our school district. You know, it's an unpaid position, which I can relate to in the union role that I play in our district. But you know, it is appreciated. Like, even though you guys are not in our schools, the decisions and the things that you guys discuss here, you know, obviously carry over and affect all classified staff and all staff in our district. And I just want to thank you guys for your time and dedication that you guys are putting into our youth and in our community through Coos Bay Schools. So hope you guys feel appreciated, not just during School Board Appreciation Month. And then David, you're again. Yeah. I'm gonna read the nomination submission from the staff member who nominated Taryn Kirk. Taryn Kirk is a secretary over at Sunset. I want to say she's probably been working in our district since about 2010, I believe. She started out as an educational assistant and moved to a secretary, and she is amazing. So I'm gonna read to you guys what one of her peers submitted for her. I would like to nominate our amazing secretary, Taryn Kirk, for this staff award. Simply put, she's the motor that keeps our school running. She's a true master multitasker, juggling schedules, phone calls, student needs, and about a dozen emergencies at any given moment, all with calm professionalism. Most of her work happens quietly behind the scenes, but we all know nothing would function smoothly without her steady hand. One of the things that makes her so special is the open chair next to her desk. It's never empty for long. Whether it's a student who needs reassurance, a staff member who needs help problem solving, or just someone having a rough day, she was always there to listen. She makes everyone who walks in feel heard, supported, and cared for. She doesn't just complete tasks, she supports people. She keeps us organized, keeps us moving, and keeps us going. We are truly lucky to have her. For all of these reasons and so many more, she is incredibly deserving of this recognition. So, just wanted to give you guys some information about Taryn. I don't have very many updates. Unfortunately, I had to reschedule our monthly meeting with our superintendent and HR in December. However, we did come in during break and met with Michelle to update those job descriptions that we've been talking about and kind of getting those squared away. Going around and talking to our members was really helpful in getting that input and kind of clarifying some like just confusion, maybe surrounding new changes and titles within our contract and stuff with our members. And so getting the chance to address that. I think it's going to be really helpful making sure that we have very clear job descriptions that match those titles within our bargained contract. So that's, do you guys have any questions or concerns?
Taryn's great.
Yes,
Thank
she
you
is.
so much.
She is amazing, both to work with and then to get to have her at your child's school. It doesn't matter how busy she is, like she always makes it feel like your kid's the only kid that she like is talking to, but I know she does it for everybody, right? Like, so yeah.
You did a good job with that. I felt like I just want to go and sit in that chair
Yeah.
actually. Did that make you feel like you feel safe?
She would welcome you.
No, I might
She
just
would
do
welcome
that.
you in. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Bree.
Thank you, Bree. Okay, Glenn, you're up.
Yes. VP Tracy Berlin. On behalf of CBA, we would like to say thank you to the board. And she brought gifts.
Spoiled tonight, you guys. Oh my
My
God.
New Year's resolution was to stop.
I'm gonna run again just so I can. I know. Oh, you want your time. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're
Wonderful,
welcome.
thank you. I said.
I thought of you, Kim, when I put candy in there.
There's your little twisty. I was gonna stop eating them in 2026. Now I'm gonna start for 20.
Now you have
There you
to.
go.
Now you have to eat them.
Yeah, every day's day one.
Okay, Glenn.
Yeah, we appreciate
Top
everything
that.
you do. And then we have some spotlights from the high school. There were over 200 student responses, and we have got Briscoe up there, right? All right, okay. So Mr. Briscoe is a graduation coach. He's been at Marshfield for 7 years and 17 years in law enforcement before that. But the important stuff is what the students have to say about it. So students describe Mr. Briscoe as consistently positive and caring presence at Marshfield High School. They say he greets everyone with a smile, often holding the door and brightening their day. Just being there, he is seen as kind, thoughtful, and always willing to help, no matter the situation. Many students shared that he notices when they are having a hard day, checks in with them, and truly listens. They feel supported, safe, and motivated by him, and see him as someone who goes above and beyond for every student he meets. And what he loves working in Marshfield, he said, I love working with kids and trying to get the best out of them. So, gem there. And then we have our Mr. Borneval, which I probably mispronounced that, but you'll get only later. So he's our new culinary teacher. He's been with us, this is his first year, but he's been in the kitchens for 25 years. What the students have to say about Scotty is he is one of our favorite teachers and someone students really appreciate. He is kind, welcoming, and always willing to help us when we have questions or need support. Even though this is his first year, he is new to our school. He has worked incredibly hard to get the culinary program up and running and to keep the class organized with the limited time that we have. Students like that he is honest and straightforward. If something needs improvement, he tells us directly so we can learn and do better. His positive attitude, strong cooking skills, and supportive personality make his class a place students enjoy coming to every day. And many of us consider him to be one of the best teachers in the school. And what he loves about working at Marshfield High School is the accomplishments of the students completing their recipes and then saying how it came out better than they thought. So yeah, 2 awesome ones. Any questions?
I have a question about your class. I know I toured your classroom and it was amazing, all the stuff you do in there. I can't remember. Do you guys have a 3D printer?
Yeah, 10 of them.
Okay, that's what I got.
We even have one that prints stainless steel
Wow.
and
that's
carbon
awesome.
fiber. We have lots of toys.
Come print a house with those.
We can't that one. We don't have that 3D printer.
Okay.
The concrete ones, those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Haven't scaled up that far yet.
Someday.
Maybe we'll get Jesse on that one.
Yeah. I like that. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you.
Take care.
Things are going to.
Just a comment for Glenn and Bree. I really love that every month you come and bring us great news and great highlights. I think it's really important that the
Yeah.
district build a culture of recognizing people for doing the wonderful work they're doing. So thank you for being part of making that culture happen.
You too, Bree.
You too, Bree.
Yeah. Oh,
Did I say Bree? I said,
oh, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
sorry. Yeah, Bree and Glenn.
He did.
Sorry.
Okay. We're going to pass over Melinda, who was detained a little bit, and go right into Marina.
Right into the fun stuff.
Yeah. of
Yes.
course.
So first we have the December 1st through 31st check listing. You'll notice that it is 3 pages wider than normal. That is because we don't participate usually when staff are not here ordering things. And since we had break, we got to take a little bit of a break in terms of checks. There's no significant or oddities in these check listings, but did anyone have any questions on any of the checks that I
2 quick questions. I saw that there was a healthcare staffing incorporated, and that I was just curious.
Yes,
12,000, what is that?
that is our, is Candace here? I believe it's our speech pathologist that we We contract services through that.
Contract was, okay.
Mhm.
It was listed as a staffing agency, so, or Inc. This is staffing Inc., so I thought it was interesting.
Mhm.
We don't have our speech pathologist through ESD.
No,
Okay.
no, we
Is it-
contract, I think 3 this year. Is that right? 3
Kayla?
speech paths
Dr.
this year.
Sorry, what?
Do we have 3 contracted speech paths this year?
I think.
Yeah, 3. I think 3.
Thank you. My other question was, I noticed that we sent 2 checks to Pacific Power for a total of around $80,000. They were in pretty different amounts. And so how often do we pay those, and is that normal?
It's typically once a month, but we, the Thanksgiving holiday and some staffing, we took 2 weeks off of checks from November, the 20th of November to the 10th of December. And so the first one was the November bills, and then the last one was the December bill.
Okay. And then the difference has to do with people basically not being here and having the lights on.
Pretty much,
Shoes
yeah.
down or whatever.
Primarily the heats, yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Next we have the standard monthly financials. Because we have so few expenditures and our payroll is balancing out this far in the year, we don't have any significant projection changes. We're looking good in the general fund, except that we do now have audited beginning fund balances. So you'll see those featured now because we have a completed audit. Yes, we're thrilled about that. You'll see under intermediate sources, it's projecting that we're going to have $375,000 less than we had anticipated. That was, we had anticipated something called the County and Common School Fund. And that's purely from ODE. We budget a certain amount every year, I believe $430,000. And we always get that much, but we get it at the very, very end of the year. And so last year it happened to come in July. And so it's projecting that we're not going to receive any payment in June this year, but I just haven't adjusted to that. So nothing of note in the general fund. I will note that in the special revenue fund, we've received, I believe, 4 unbudgeted grants of significant value because we weren't anticipating receiving them. So that was the early literacy comprehensive portion, as well as the high dosage tutoring. And then also the YEHA grant from the city of Coos Bay. None of those were even discussed when we were discussing budgets, and so they're not budgeted for. We have enough allocation where we can comfortably spend those, but if we come close to our allocations in terms of expenditures, I'll bring that to you guys and provide the background as to why, which is also part of the reason that then I'm providing you the special revenue fund breakouts, because we just have so many new funds that are coming every year, and they have so many different reporting requirements, but also budgeting requirements and timelines that previously we could pretty accurately track what our allocations would be and what our expenditures would be, but state and federal resources coming out in such different pots of money at random times, it's getting really challenging to budget for all of the smaller ones. So we've gotten about $600,000 of grants that weren't budgeted for, but we are spending. And so if we come close to allocations, I'll bring that to you for appropriation.
Are those funds that we're spending,
Mhm.
we're not going to have them next year, right?
Some of them we will. So the Comprehensive Early Literacy Grant is a 4-year grant. We are currently in year 2, except we are only just now getting the allocation like 3 weeks ago. So we have all of the last year's 150,000 as well as this current year. So yes, we have a significantly higher amount this year. The high dosage tutoring is a one-off. I think not as many people took the early literacy grant, and so they're pushing it out to people that did take it. And that is 105,000 this year and 107,000 next year, which is wonderful. And then the YEHA grant was 105,000 from the city, and that's just a 1-year grant. So not all of them are continual years, but
And do we have to spend all those funds this year?
Yes.
So it's allocated for this year.
Yes, but within their budget limitations, so some of them go October 1st through September 30th. And so.
So we
we're
can
able-
drag it into next
Mhm.
school year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're having to be very intentional with how we use them, knowing that they are in some capacity 1-year funds because of the carryover.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't know it existed, because OT wasn't sure how they were going to roll it out, and so we didn't hear about it until probably August. And then the high dosage tutoring, I think we only found out about in November.
Yes. this was late November.
Yeah. So yes,
And did that one come from ODE tutoring grant? Where'd that come from?
yes, it came from ODE. It's a supplemental to the current early literacy grant through ODE.
Interesting. And so those things aren't listed out here.
They're not on these sheets, but they will be on the next set, the special revenue funds.
Okay.
Attachment, and this, there's nothing else of note in the monthly reports because nothing happens in the capital projects or debt service during the winter. So we'll go on to the special revenue funds because this is where you'll see definitely the most amount of information because I've broken out what we budget as just the special revenue fund 200. It's probably 60 individual funds within there. And so I've broken that out for you guys so you can kind of see what I look at when I take that giant fund and break it out. So we have a variety of things that are within there. The student body funds, KMHS radio, which we moved out of a student body fund into a separate revenue fund so we can track the business expenses. The scholarship committee is in here. Preschool promise grants, high school success, outdoor school, all of our variety of grants I've included on here so you can see what our allocation is, what we budgeted, and then what we expensed or encumbered year to date. So you guys are a little more aware of what we're spending this on. It's primarily staffing, right? Does anyone have any questions on a special revenue grant? So, yes.
Is early literacy grant 247 and comp literacy grant 248? Is the comp one the one from ODE?
No, so early literacy is 247. That is from ODE, and we report it on our integrated program with ODE. So that's like the same as SIA, high school
Okay.
success, all in one. And then the comprehensive early literacy fund 248. That is the federal that we're having the both years of allocation this year because of when it got dispersed. And we haven't spent any of the high dosage tutoring. We only just got that grant agreement over the Christmas break. So that's why it's not showing in here. We haven't spent anything out of it, but next month you'll see that as well.
And the one that you were talking about that came from Coos Bay.
That's fund 295. It's the YEHA grant.
And what does that fund?
Melinda Torres manages that fund, and she can give you definitely better information on that during her presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. She had to apply for it and do all the budget. for
Not
it.
yet.
Sorry. Sit back down.
We passed you over, unfortunately.
Sorry, I made eye contact with her. Does anyone have any questions on any other special revenue funds?
Parentheses are for for these fund balances. Some of them are parentheses and some of them are not. What is that denoting?
The parentheses identifies there's a negative fund balance.
Negative.
And that is likely, depending on which one, it's because they're reimbursement grants. So we spend it all and we'll submit reimbursements to ODE.
Nice.
They changed in the last year. They've always been reimbursement, and then in the last 2 years they've switched. So some are reimbursement and some are disbursement, and yikes, there's not a rhyme or reason that I can identify. Yeah.
Do you think the TAP program is going to continue? Has there been any, the Tremonton's pilot program?
I don't know anything about that one. I let Bree handle that. Yeah, you're raising your hand.
What was the question exactly?
Will it carry on?
Do you think is the TAP program going to
The
continue?
task force runs on a biennium, so right now we're at the beginning of a 2-year biennium. And so the budget may go up a little bit, so right now for 2 years, it's 200. But it's every biennium.
Thank
So
you.
next year will be the second year.
Important for advocacy next year for that grant.
There has not been, because with government to government and those steps, it is something that's in like a base budget at OZE, so there's not an expected cut to that program.
Great. Thank you. The people who manage and run the grants, I'm so thankful for them. I cannot much know all of that, but I can do the financials. Yeah. Any other?
I just want to say before we go to the audit report, or before we go then the audit report, kudos to Marina and to Dr. Ainsworth last year for, there are districts out there right now that are talking about mid-year cuts and, overestimated their enrollment, and now they're in kind of spin work to get their budgets back in order. And Dr. Ainsworth and Marina both did a great job coming in lower than we projected with enrollment, padding us a little bit. And it's paying dues for us to not have to be sitting here today like some districts in our state talking about mid-year layoffs and adjustments to the budget. So I just want to make sure we give kudos to both of them for their work last spring.
Thank you.
And the budget committee.
The budget
Yeah.
committee.
And the budget
Yes,
committee.
we
So,
will be thankful for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
On
And we
to-
still need one more person for the budget committee, am I correct?
is that
We do.
correct, Judith?
Yes,
Yes, we
correct.
do.
Okay,
So if you know anybody,
I know someone who wants to do something. She's an empty nester now, and wants
Great.
to do something.
the budget committee is my baby, and I would be happy to have anyone who is excited about budget to join. Thank you. Enrollment, there is not much change from last month. There's maybe one or two that are switching from sides of town. The biggest change, honestly, was at AYA. We went down 5 kids. That is it comes in and it goes back out to AYA. I think we keep maybe a very small percentage of those students, but we report on their actual daily enrollment, so it fluctuates significantly. But Scott Cooper does a great way of tracking all the students. That was just the only significant notice in enrollment over the course of spring. Anyone have any question on enrollment? Thank you. On to the audit report. Great news. We have a clean, unqualified opinion, and I could not be more excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes,
This is our-
congratulations.
Thank you. It's our second year with our new firm, Umpqua Valley Financial. They've expanded significantly in their number of clients, and so it was really looking like maybe we weren't going to get it in time, but they actually got us the completed audit a month before it was even due to OT. So we are thankful. We have a clean opinion, so we're even more thankful. You'll notice that the biggest takeaway for me was that our beginning fund balance started at about 5.4 million and is ending at about 4.1. This was very intentional based on the budget committee priorities of maintaining our staffing levels after ESSER. That was something that was really communicated to me during the budget committee as our priority of maintaining our staffing as long as possible and ensuring that our ending fund balance gets back to the board policy of 5% and not 8 or 9, which was what we were sitting at right before COVID. We want to stick with board policy and also use the fund dollars that are coming in for the students that are in our schools as they're coming in. So we intentionally did spend 1.375 million of that ending fund balance. We are still over the board policy required. I believe it's 5%. So that sits about 1.9 million when we're doing budget. And you'll see I always budget for that percentage. But there's always allocations that don't get spent. And so we are continually eating down that ending fund balance until it stays at about 5% of, I'm always looking for 2 million. So we're able to maintain our staffing levels as they are for this year, with the understanding that next year there will be reductions. To what extent, I honestly don't know. Our extent, we've kind of discussed a number, but then ODE is making cuts, which was really communicated by the legislature of potentially up to 5%. That could come to honestly as early as February in this year. We'll have a decision in February of this year from the legislature as to whether or not they'll impact this year or they'll save all of the impact for next year on the state school fund, because it is the second year in a biennium. So they do have the capacity to lower that in the second year. If that happens, we will talk about the repercussions of that at a future board meeting and budget committee. But those are the things that we're looking at. But we're not see the ending fund balance decrease 1.4 million coming up on budget cuts. That it is intentional, and we are making decisions to maintain our staffing the best as possible and our service levels with the knowledge that ODE needs. We're at their mercy. So hopefully next month I'll come back to you with great news that ODE is going to move all of that cut, and maybe it's a very minimal cut, not to the state school fund, but I'll report to you guys whatever I hear as soon as we hear it, and we will discuss changes if we need to for this year. Right now, we're looking good. We're on track for budget. We're on track for audit. Thanks. Yeah.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the budget process later, but February 4th will be a big day for us. February 4th.
You'll probably get an update before the board meeting. Yeah, but we can discuss it further and what it means for our districts. And next month's meeting. Does anyone have any questions on the audit?
Thank you, and thank you to your team. I really appreciate for us talking about it. We had that high amount. Like what are we gonna do? Talked about, hey, this is our board policy amount. Let's spend the money so we can keep the quality services and still keep our cushion there where we've got it in the board policy. So I appreciate us doing that. So I'm sure the students and families do as well.
Thanks to the budget committee, we were able to do that.
Any other questions for Marina?
Just a statement. I think all of us, if you know state representatives, you should be talking to them. They do have a rainy day fund that they can tap into, so they can keep education whole if they want. And it is currently maxed out. Their money just goes in there automatically. And until it gets to a certain space, it's now at the top of that space. So they need to spend some of it anyway. I hope that they get the message that holding education harmless is the most important thing they can do.
Yes.
They've used that fund 9 times as we told Ferris Bueller, 9 times, over and over again by COSA. And COSA is going to be having a team of members, myself included, that's going to go up and do some advocacy work in late January and in early February to really encourage them to use that education stability fund. I know that the governor's team is very nervous about 2027. Originally, they had said that they were not interested in tapping into the education stability fund because of the fear of the 2027 biennium. But she's heard from constituents that it's maxed out, as already said.
Yeah.
Let's look at using some of it to maintain our services for next year, the second half of the biennium.
Where does the money come from, Arnie?
Trying to remember, it's something, I think it comes on before we give back money, if we miscalculate on the amount of money that is coming in. So, and even in that time, there's been a couple different times when we've actually knew there was a budget coming that's bad, but the state law requires us to give money back. So we've sent it back to the people.
And this week is our legislative days. So committees are meeting this week for hearings that you can watch.
If there's anything I can do, I'm going up Wednesday for the board. At a couple of committees.
Yeah, you might know some people.
Yes, I do know.
I know. I think you can probably
Does OSBA have people or a team that lobbies up there?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
They have 15.
OSBA, COSA, OEA.
They're
all have a network. Of
OSBA does.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone have any other questions?
At the top of the report, they spelled my name wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
You
not
get
usually
bizarre.
hard, so, no.
Okay, I'll make sure that. That's fine.
Any other questions? Okay, we are back to Melinda.
I'm scared now.
No,
Sit back down.
Oh, Melinda has no fear.
Yeah, Melinda's not afraid.
No.
I'm gonna go that far. Well, first, my name is Melinda Torres. I'm supervisor of student support services. So what that really means is I oversee the ARC project, which is a drop-in center that we have that serves houseless children, youth, and their families within the county. And we're located behind Marshfield High School between the wood shop and theater. And then also I have, I think I brought, okay, our newsletter that you might have seen in your email, but I brought collected copies for you all. And I just want to give an overview of how we've been doing this school year. This school year, we gave out 495 backpacks to all over the county, which was just really great. We also made sure that we have enough for CASA as well, and Kids Hope Center and Safe Project, any of those other family resources that we have in town that could use those additional benefits. And all the schools super appreciative, especially our outlying schools like Powers and Myrtle Point we go to, and they really do depend on the extra supports that we give, which has been really great. And then also we have a new community liaison, Ruth Thomas. She was over at Millicoma. She's been with us with our district for 8 years now. So it's really exciting that we had an internal applicant that knows staff, knows the kids already that were little. And then it's just, she's fitting in really well, and she has some great ideas. And I'm really excited to see what other things that she does to improve our services with ARC. This holiday season, this is the most kids that we've ever had. We had 215 kids on our holiday wish list. So how we decide those students is usually people that come into the ARC, that's who do we have a relationship with, and then we ask each of the schools in our county to give us some other families that they want to sponsor for our holiday wish list. And then this year was the first time I ever went outside of just our students and staff wrapping presents. It was, I'm like, it was new. It was good. It was good practice for me. So we had North Bend High School leadership and their Bulldog Charity Program come and help wrap presents for all of their North Bend kiddos. And we invited North Bend City Council, North Bend School Board as well to help participate. And then we also partnered with the Van Naan Community Youth Center, and that was really great. We had the school board over there, and we also had the youth center board members as well come and help wrap presents. And then for us here, it was like, oh my gosh, it was great. There's a lot of presents. We had school board members. We invited city council. The city manager came. Gary came. Eli came. It was a lot of fun. They only wanted to wrap rectangles.
We only want rectangle. Rectangle.
Yeah. Oh my. And then Latinx Club, Melanie, she's the one. She's like, I saw this on TikTok before I came, and I said, okay, great. Like, let's just have you do that the whole time. So yeah, it was really cool. And the charity, MHS charity program came as well. And it was we had a lot of presents. It was besides this year, we had 187 kids was my highest year. And that was probably 2 years ago. So 215, that's quite a bit more. So we're trying to figure out how can we really coordinate services with other communities and seeing who else wants to get involved. And I think it was great. It wasn't all just on Coos Day to do it all, because it's a lot. And then also that equated to around 1,000 gifts that were wrapped this holiday season. We also gave out 67 Thanksgiving and Christmas meals as well this year to all of the neighboring communities. And then for the ARC this year, we had since July till I pulled numbers today, we had 365 contacts of people that come in for anything. And then also this current school year, we have around 210 students that qualified as being Title X this week, which was, it's kind of crazy. It's a little down Is it was, I mean, I feel like right before COVID hit, that's when it was like had its all-time high. We're in the top 10 for the state for ratio. But we're still trying to figure out new ways to make sure that we find out who all those kids are that qualify. And like a lot of them, I noticed sometimes I like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you since you were 12. And I was thinking, oh, you have not been in school since then. So how do we re-engage these families and try to make it really happen has been the next big thing that we're trying to tackle right now. I think, and then also I'll go over, so where do you need to go sit down? So the YEHA grant stands for Youth Emergency Housing Assistance. And I like made sure I got, okay. So the Oregon legislature had around like $5 million that they set aside for Oregon Housing and Community Services. And if you remember a couple of years ago, we had the homeless response coalition or something along those lines a couple of years ago. And we applied as North Bend and Coos Bay for those grants. And then that's how that whole thing came about, where there's a lot of listening sessions and what's going on or what do we want to use these other funds for throughout the years. And then first year they were like starting to get to know the community. And then the second year they were like, who we visited all these places that focus on kids and houselessness. So what do we want to do with this money? And then that's kind of when it dissipated, kind of went away. And then the city of Coos Bay now is the middleman for the grant right now. So really what that pays for is salary and also stuff. So what we paid for was all the backpacks, which was great. And then also we paid for a lot of taxis right now, which our average cost for taxis each month is around $500. It's quite a bit because we help with kids like getting to school, or like I'm really big on mental health. So like doctor's appointments, mental health appointments, what are those social servicey things that you need that we might, now that we're at full capacity, we're going to be able to take them ourselves and help them navigate that, especially our unaccompanied kids right now. And I'm just really excited to be at full staff because I feel like that the need is growing. And then also we're not just like, we just don't serve our houseless kids. It's any at-risk families. We're kind of like the social servicey people to go to for our whole school district. At least it's nice that there's a warm handoff where if they need something or if they need help navigating a different, I mean, like a social service that they never had before, then it's an easier process for them. So that's been great.
So in the housing, do we work with AYA?
Yes.
Because they have more housing than anybody else in the county right now.
I know it's great. I also work for AYA in their housing department. So that's been really great where they come through that door. I can do the intakes for them and like emergency, like there was an emergency last week and the student got a hold of me and we got that student into emergency housing right away, which is really nice. We have those great relationships. And with rental assistant, we had a couple families last year where we helped with, they needed to move out of where they were doubled up at. And they had all the qualifications and we got them into an apartment within, I think, 2 months. Just, finding one with rental history and income and all those good things. But yeah, we helped them with their deposit and I think 4 months of rent, which is great.
That is great.
So it's been, it's a really good working relationship. And then this YEH one, so they're using it. So they also have a sub grant as well with rental assistance. So we've been really focusing on, with AYA too, is going to different agencies and introducing ourselves and last month we all went to the Coos Drop because I have new staff, they have new staff, and trying to figure out what other resources there are because it's all the same. I've been to the drop 4 times, but there's different people each time. So really making sure that there's that connection, and then we've been sending kids over there.
The one in North Bend.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the YEHA grant pays for, staffing too?
It
So-
pays for my salary.
Your salary, okay. Thank you.
And then I'm hopeful that there is a renewal next year as well. But I'm glad because, yeah, it'll be good.
So I know that you have a connection. So do we ever work with Band and Dunes to get some resources for?
I mean, for golf.
No. They have their foundations have a fair amount of money. They do a lot of different things. Housing has not been one of those, but I was just wondering if you ever had conversations with.
Yeah, I did tell Marie that so with that application, it's like, this is the time, I feel like right now is when I need to start looking for more grants for salaries and everything, because everything's being cut. So right now, this is where I did talk to Marie already last school year that I wanted to apply specifically for salaries for the spring grant cycle that they have coming up.
And the Mobley Foundation.
Yeah, the Mobley Foundation too. Yeah, that was a good one too.
You used the term, you said unaccompanied.
Yes.
So how many students do you serve that are unaccompanied, and what does that exactly define? Like, is that somebody who just has no guardian, or?
Yeah, no guardian, they're like still qualify as they, for example, doubled up, anything like that, a runaway from like a DV situation, or it's just not safe to be in their home and they're too old for DHS right now.
Okay, and they're
Yeah.
staying at a friend,
Yeah, staying at
or?
friends. And we
Okay.
partner with A-Wave. They have a host home program, which is really great. We try to utilize that where stipulations, and we're the main referrals for housing and for their host home program as well. With unaccompanied, those are the ones that we pay special attention to, like make sure that we go to, especially for high school, go to their, oh my gosh, why am I not thinking about it right now? Parent teacher conferences, look at their grades. We really try to go that extra mile because they need to feel supported. And even like one kid that we got referred over, she's going to SWAC right now, and I still make her come in and do laundry once a week so I can see her and like, you haven't done FAFSA yet. We need to do this and scholarships, and just making sure that they have that continued support. Just because you graduated from us doesn't mean that we're still not there for you, which is happening more frequently.
And how is everybody hearing? How do these kiddos hear about you? What is like is it just peer referral, or
It's honestly, I have a lot more teachers, I have secretaries, and it's a gentle handoff where, hey, let's just set up a meeting. I want to talk to you. And that's just been how it's been going right now. Or I'm getting a lot more from hospital. You know, a lot more calls from the hospital about, I have a kid in here, I don't know where they don't have a place to go. Like, do you know what resources there are? So we're getting a lot of those too.
Most of our building admin have Melinda speak
I'm
up.
glad they're calling now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
and many of our secretaries and a lot of our teachers.
No, it's been great. Like,
It's nice to have
just-
Charleston back in the loop for
Yeah.
housing and everything else.
yeah, it's I feel like it's a community effort. It really is.
And Melinda, I don't know if you did this year, so apologize for putting you on the spot for that. In the past, Melinda's come to each building and did a short little, or somebody from her team has come and did a short little presentation on this is what we do and this is how you contact us if you have students in need.
Yeah, and we still do that. And like Ruth is has some great ideas about even doing it after the holidays and saying, oh, we're still here. You still need, because now we're gearing up for summer and telling them about when we're open and what services we still offer. And so I'm excited.
You're amazing.
I try sometimes.
Are there any other questions?
I would just say it's also fun. I haven't done it this year because I haven't been out to Costco as much, but I usually buy a bunch of goodies at
Yes.
Costco to drop off at the yard.
Oh.
Yes, please come by. If you have not come by, please
Yeah,
come by.
it's a wonderful little place. And we're bringing you peanut butter again this month.
Is there anything else you need?
I think we just probably like food. We're all like, food is always a big thing. I just had
Like
All-
snacks or?
No food.
Or,
Like
or
food,
for
food.
full-size toiletries.
Full size, yeah, full size.
When, and I don't know how much you've done this, but grocery outlet, I don't know about locally, but many grocery outlets that I've worked with have been really good because it's a warehouse program where they have a database of items that they can go find for you
Yeah.
at a really big discount because of
Yeah, I
whatever.
didn't even think about
I
that.
use them a lot as an athletic director and as a coach. So if you go talk to the local manager owner, most of them are locally owned, and you can go in and they can show you, like, you can go in and say, I need cases of peanut butter, and they'll go on and see if they can find it, and usually they can give you the best prices on those items. So
Yeah, it's good to know.
Or all of your little organizations that you belong to can do food drives and bring it to our,
You know, and then I talked to some of the food drive people locally, and they talk about non-perishable meat.
Yep.
If we
Yep.
have one, like there's canned salmon. It's so
what I learned is you have to be really careful of what you bring because people who are houseless don't have ways to cook some of the, like people were giving boxes of mac and cheese. Well, if you don't have a microwave or a refrigerator to keep milk cold, then that's not going to do you any good.
And I always encourage families too, like we have a full kitchen, we have to-go hangers, all that good stuff where they can do, it's not as much happening as it was like all the time. But that's still always an option for them. Like you can bake lasagna in there or do whatever.
So this is a much larger conversation, but I'm just curious of your opinion. How do you see the housing improving and more affordability in the area aside from the new builds? And are you seeing things open up more and more apartments available? No, it's the same.
The big one in North Bend's
North Bend's
coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That's-
along.
That looks like it's for workers more than low income.
It will be for
Oh,
the low
oh.
income.
I'm talking about the annex.
I'm talking about the
Yeah,
big.
yeah,
trucks.
The big, yeah.
My
So-
grocery outlet.
So that one should have 122 or something like 122 units available.
Yeah.
And then our next big push will be the workforce housing.
Yeah.
portion of it. Which it's exciting.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
thanks,
you.
Melinda.
Always.
Yeah.
Gary, you're up next,
I
but
am.
before you come up, could I ask Eli?
You can ask UI anything you want.
The superintendent's presentation.
Eli, we, while we were on break, all received, communication from Michelle that we were hiring a, new teacher for the broadcast department. Could you talk
Well,
about
we
what
are-
went
we are-
on, what
We are in the
happened?
middle of interviews right now. So we have 3 candidates that we're interviewing. So hopefully by the end of the week, we will be hiring. We were offering the position to
Okay.
one of the candidates. So yes,
And I
it's
can talk
pretty
about
nice to
that.
have 3 candidates at this time of the year.
We can talk about that with board sports. We just had a radio meeting.
Okay.
And we heard all about it.
Okay, good. But we're almost gonna hire someone.
Well, yeah, I was delightfully surprised to have multiple
Three.
candidates
Yeah.
this time of year
Always good.
for a job that's not easy to fill. CTE jobs are not easy. to fill,
Yeah,
Jeff.
that's
So
nice that you
There's
have.
a
all highly qualified.
Alabama person look good.
They all look good. All paper, yeah.
Oh, good. Thank you, Eli.
All right. I get a tough job of following up Melinda and Eli. All right, so January board report. Going to start off our first live little video, School Board Appreciation Month. And if you want a picture of your superhero outfit, I can get it for you.
Yeah, that would be pretty sharp. I want to wear.
I love that.
Costume ideas. Kevin, I will tell you, I had to adjust the prompts a little bit because you, it wanted to red your beard and dwarf And so I was like, no,
It
the lower is
happens.
better.
You gave me the hammer, that's all that
I was
matters.
like, when it got to 4, I was like, I'm gonna land there. Just let me go on.
Sounds great.
Wanted to go over some slides, and many of the slides were from our welcome back certified gathering that we had on January 5th. And so I started off with going over with our staff again what our mission statement is, kind of in a reset coming back from holiday break of looking at what we've done and where we're going. So started off with our mission statement that each student is known by name, strength, and need, and all students graduate with a plan to be enrolled, employed, or enlisted. Thanks, David, for being my clicker. We went over once again our Coos Bay promise on our foundation for learning. I found that this has also been really nice to go over with folks that have asked, whether it's the Chamber of Commerce, people that I've been visiting with. I've talked about it a little bit at BSD, with community members. It's nice to be able to say this is the foundation of Coos Bay schools. I also went over our Coos Bay culture, our district culture of a culture that embraces collaboration, embraces learning, embraces ownership for results, and celebrates successes. And that was part of kind of my message to staff on the 5th when we came back. I took our superintendent goals from the 1, 2, 3, and 4 and put them into a little different format for that meeting. So I talked about my superintendent goals, which include raising the academic expectations and outcomes for the district as aligned to the state accountability metrics, the long-term alternative education plan and priorities. And I want to point out that at the very end, I put on there a bridge program, which is kind of a place filler name, but that is a concept and an idea that Dr. Crook and I are continuing to work on to help with some of our most striving behavioral students and looking at how we can best support them in both their social emotional learning and their academic learning. So right now we've kind of got a placeholder calling it Bridge Program, which is a common name for several school districts. They call it their bridge between a transitional bridge between their needs and getting them into the regular gen ed environment. So also talked about investigating and establishing the need for additional programs in Coos Bay schools. One of the co-curriculars that I've asked Mr. McCord to look into for next year that I think could be very cost effective, possibly even cost neutral, is junior high cheer and dance. We were able to get a new cheerleading mat for the high school cheer team. And so we might be able to pass their mat on down to the junior high team and maybe have a junior high team established with very minimal cost. Our high school team already just cheers at home games, so there's no travel associated. It's really having an advisor and then getting kids signed up. So it's just one area we think we can expand. We'll continue to look at others, but with the budget situation, cost effectiveness, cost neutral is really where we need to go with these programs. And then administer at least 2 community and student surveys focusing on climate and student voice. I think this is an area that we've been really strong in, both with our families, our communities, and our students so far. And we're just continuing to gather more and more data as we've gone through. Thanks, David. This was not presented to staff, but I wanted to present it to our board. This is our regular attenders from September to December. So it's comparing September to December this year to September to December last year. Okay, you can see the yellow is last year, the purple is this year, and to be a regular attender, you can miss no more than about 8 days right now in the school year when it comes from September to December. As you can see in comparing the buildings from this year to last year, all of our buildings are up in terms of regular attenders. Some of them, like Sunset, are up 20%. The East Side schools, Millicoma and the East Side, have a little bit less room for growth when it comes to their regular attenders from last year. We still have a ways to go to get 90, no doubt about it. But we are seeing some really positive growth amongst our regular attenders in all of our buildings. And that's a big kudos to the folks that are taking the time to really focus on attendance in our schools. It's real proud. I made sure to tell the administrators today how proud I was of them, their efforts when we met before this meeting.
Is there one or two themes about or reasons for the improvement that?
I think the building's having to take a little more ownership on it and focus on a few more in-building systems is one. Also, I think, to be really honest with you, we had a really bad cold and flu season last year. And that's not going to be 20% growth like Sunset. But I think some of our buildings, it was a couple of percentage points higher due to the fact that last year, Dr. Rogowski may have been aware of this being in the hospital. Last year's cold and flu season in that October, November, December was pretty rough. So But we're proud. We'll take the wins however we can get them. So for sure. Sunset is definitely their improvement is not due to the better cold influences. There's systems and I think more staff checking in with families, and really proud of what they're doing over there on the west side. Went over the family conference survey. We surveyed families about how fall conferences went. We had 290 responses, and of those responses, 90% responded with positive messages, positive feedback when it came to their students' academic progress being clearly explained, the families being able to understand the performance for the students in each subject. They were provided the student strengths and needs, which goes right back to our mission. That was happy that came up as a positive. The student engagement in class was clearly articulated to the families. The staff was positive, respectful, and welcoming to our families. And 90% plus were overall satisfied with their experience at conferences. And some of the key words that came up from the comments were trust, gratitude, culture, commitment, kindness, being positive, and being heard. So I think that's a really good, some really good feedback from our families. Some of the grows we have is the families wanted some more input on ways that they could support student engagement and needs for their child. Very reasonable. Conducting conferences the same time for all the buildings, the same couple of days was a theme, and we're going to look at that. It's a theme for our own staff members and our own. We've had this conversation in calendar committee even prior to the results of the survey really coming back in. So I would expect some changes there, if not this spring, next year on how that is operated. We talked a little bit about staff. Do we want to move K-6 conferences to earlier in the year, maybe around early October, right after we do those early year assessments, so they're more fresh rather than when it's around, a month and a half later in November around Veterans Day. So we had that conversation too as staff. Communication on what families could bring. Do they bring their student? Do they bring documents? What teachers are and aren't available, especially at the secondary level, to activities and athletics. Clearer expectations on data, like what is a benchmark? What do these test scores mean? Which we've had that conversation here. And then providing help to families to support the students at home. What can they do for homework, for interventions? So those are our grows that came out of it that we're going to look at as administrators and staff as we get ready for spring conferences and then again in the fall. Our spring conferences is generally, fall has always been a time we want to meet with every family. And spring is where we're meeting with our most striving learners that need that extra support. Other glows that we talked about. Every building has students that are making gains, whether it's destinations, graduation rate, East Side's first grade scores on their Dibbles assessment, Madison second grade scores, our special education and students in poverty on OSAS, their scores have gone up by 7%. So every building has wins in terms of our academics, which is great. For the first year, Coos Bay had a day of testing in October where we had students in the junior high and high school all taking some sort of assessment, whether it was the pre-ACT, ACT, the ASVAB. One of those assessments, all buildings were engaged in taking some sort of assessment, which is great. All of our junior high and high school. We're working on continuing to revamp that certified evaluation tool to be more rubric-based, like we ask our students to have more rubric-based assessments in class. And that's gone really well. We've had a good team looking at those. We have a summative plan we're working on, and then we'll start working on what those formative or observation tools look like. The Marshfield Junior High and High School bell schedule, I think, is a big goal for us. We were able to accomplish the needs for the remainder of the school year to get more advisory time, to have more PLC time on Friday. But that was a major collaborative effort with the administrators, the teachers, of those buildings and classified staff. There were lots of discussions, meetings, and things of that nature, and feedback. So I'm really happy about the collaborative nature and all the conversations we had with those staff members to build that schedule for the second semester. And then building relationships with families and community. I'm going to talk a little bit later about the upcoming the coffee with the superintendent, but we've done 2 of those. They've gone really well. And Marino was at one of them over there, and was at the first one. And we're working on some town hall presentations. David and I have been working with our local tribal members, and on the fire station hosting one coming up in February. And then we're going to host one over at Sunset because I really wanted to try to find a way to get off site. But the fire stations over on the west side, they don't have restrooms for the public. So we're going to do one at Sunset, and then we're working on one out at possibly out on one of the tribal locations as well to get families to come in and visit about what we're doing at Goose Bay Schools. Well, lots of positive feedback. Our grows that we have, student behaviors, we know that. We've had those conversations. We're continuing to have those conversations. And we're going to take some looks at what we can do both in the buildings in terms of classroom and comprehensive classroom management plans, how we can support more students that have striving behavioral needs, and then how we can continue to find avenues to put students in the best position to be successful. And that might be this bridge program as we look to start the fall. Senate Bill 141, the state accountability measures. They are going to be adopting the interim assessments on the 15th. The problem with the interim assessments is of the 4 that are proposed for adoption, we don't currently use any of them, which means we're going to have to go out and spend money to bring these interim assessments to Goose Bay Schools. The interim assessments we use, DIBELS is considered as a dyslexia screener more than an interim assessment. So we're going to have to find an additional ELA reading interim assessment. We want to keep our DIBELS because we do use it for screening, diagnostic tool, and interventions. And then math, we're going to have to look at adopting an interim assessment. Right now, ODE is telling us that we should budget about $10 per student, K-8, per assessment. So we're looking in the upper areas.
And are they going to give us that extra money?
No, they're
$10
not.
per student?
No, they're not. No. And so we're looking at probably around $40,000 additional costs for these interim assessments total, about $20,000 per subject.
I'm learning.
Yeah, you're
And these are additional. We will be losing instructional time to give students additional testing.
Yes, it would probably if let's say I shouldn't say the names of the assessments until they're adopted, but one of them we used in the past, and it was about 30 minutes to do the math assessment. And we did it 3 times a year. Fall, beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year. So you're looking at 3 lost days of instruction to do assessments, most likely. I haven't seen what the reading interim assessments are going to look like, so I'm just guessing that there'll be a 1-day assessment, but the math one took about 30 minutes.
And is this, when it says state accountability metrics, that suggests that then this will become public information, this will become part of our district's kind of report card.
Yeah, Senate Bill 141 mandates that the data from the interim assessments is presented to the administrators and the board 3 times a year. So it'll be included in our data nights. The nice thing is we're already doing a lot of the accountability measures that were built into 141. We just, unfortunately, they didn't choose the assessments that we're using, so we're going to have to branch off a little bit to add these. But we've been doing a lot of the things, reporting attendance data, reporting academic achievement to the board. We've been doing those things, so we're kind of ahead of the game. One of the areas that we're going to have to make a decision is the local assessment. And the local assessment could be the interim assessments. They're going to be considered a local assessment in terms of our report card. We could choose one that goes on our report card. We can look at those interim assessments. We can look at 5th grade science scores. We can look at our CTE certifications. Probably the one that I would recommend we choose right now would be our dual credit advanced placement college readiness metric, because we're way ahead of the game in that metric. If all things go well and kids continue to work at the pace that we're thinking, we're going to have more kids come out of Marshall with an associate's degree this year than we've ever had. So the dual credit work that Eli's done in over the last handful of years, the AP push that Dr. Ainsworth put in last year, got us at a good head start if we chose that metric, would be my recommendation based on right now. I think at some point OD is going to put a second local metric, one for the elementaries and one for the secondary. But right now they're just having. So, but that's a grow that we have coming up, is getting ready for 2026 in the fall when these accountability measures are active.
And this would be something like in in healthcare, when things like this happen, a lot of times hospitals or clinics, if you get a menu of things you can choose from, everybody starts choosing from those things, meaning moving away from Dibbles and moving toward a state-sponsored thing. Is the goal of this bill to try to get districts like our own to stop using some of the assessments we use and use the ones they want us to use, or is it?
No, I think the goal is, one, there are districts out there that don't do interim assessments. Few, but there are some. I think the other thing is by choosing 4, they can start looking at apples to apples instead of apples to oranges. So if there's only 4, they can start looking and saying, where do you compare to? We're going to have cluster districts that we are with that are similar size demographics to us, that they're going to compare how is Coos Bay, North Bend, Astoria, Cascade was in our cluster groups up by Salem, Prineville was in there. How are those schools when we look at them? How are they doing on these interim assessments? Granted, we may be doing different ones, but by choosing the 4, they can measure how we're doing in a smaller scale. So that's really the reason. We're going to continue. Our plan is to continue to use our Dibbles screener for finding out those students that are at risk for dyslexia. And also it's tied to our intervention system because it amplifies curriculum and how it works. So to go away from Dibbles means we would be going away from the adopted intervention curriculum that we're using and actually create a ton more work for us than if we just did the additional interim assessment for ELA.
Are we have the training and the expertise to be able to actually do that?
Yeah, our staff is well trained on Dibbles, so that part is going to be easy.
Right.
But once we adopt the interim assessments, that $10 per student doesn't take into account
Right.
the associated costs.
That's what, yeah, and then also the diagnostic piece, I've talked to a lot of clinicians who, there's not a lot of people who diagnose dyslexia
Right.
and that are actually qualified to do that. So we're just using that criteria to point to a direct, not necessarily diagnostic,
Right.
because we use that word actually with U of O, and they've got a whole learning center there, and they said that is not, we are not qualified in this area to do.
100%.
Yeah.
We don't diagnose it, but it flags it as a potential
We can put-
reason for the students'
We can put
scores,
resources
and then we
around
can
it.
put resources.
But then we'll add on to that this new criteria for our metrics, and we're gonna have to have training onto, just the efficacy of what
Right.
we're doing.
And
So that's-
I do not, as I said, I've seen the names of the ELA assessments, but I don't, nor do any of the other superintendents unless they use
No.
them. The 15th, they'll be officially adopted.
Mhm.
But the ELA assessments, I don't know what they entail. I don't know if they're like a 1-minute oral reading passage plus this. The math one, I know at least one of them that we've done. It's computer based. We used it in the past in a previous curriculum. So I can at least know that one. I'm like, okay, it takes about 30 minutes. It speaks to these grade level standards, and then it looks and says, okay, students proficient in this standard, not in this standard. It'll look at algebraic terms and measures, and then it'll look at geometry. It'll look at those things and it'll tell you where the student's at. So I kind of have a little familiarity with how the math one could potentially be. The ELA one right now is kind of, when they're adopted, we'll reach out to some districts that have them and say, what do you do? What does it look like? Is it, and get some more info there. So the 15th will be that day. Once they're adopted, then we'll start to go. The other thing is, we are already in contracts to use some of our items. So whether like Dibbles is one, but like our Savas momentum diagnostic that we use, we're gonna have to keep paying for it for the remainder of the 6 years, and even though we're gonna have to go this other direction. So COSA and is also kind of reaching out to the governor's office and ODE about like, can you slow roll these out for some districts that are locked into contracts with other vendors right now and not make them have to spend an additional $40,000 plus what they're sending to these other companies. So stay tuned on that and see, there's usually always some sort of ODE waiver or extension that happens. when it comes to the interim assessments. I think that could happen. I think the other things that the attendance, graduation rate, on time, on track to graduate, those things, they're going to start in the fall in 2026. And I feel pretty good about those because we've already been.
Can the parents still opt out of all these?
Parents cannot opt out of the interim assessments. So the interim assessments are not the state test. And so that is one reason also why there's a lot of districts out there that say these interim assessments, that's what we should be on or have on a report card rather than state test. The state test, you know, in some districts, you've got 60% of the high school kids that are opting out. Right. And so many people out there are like, we should just be looking at the interim assessments as our report card measure, way more than the state test.
Some of the other states in the country who have done this actually bought all the assessments and gave them to the school districts. I wish our state would do that.
Yes, I know the state's trying to negotiate reduced fees for them, because at least that's what we're told. Oh boy, that would be nice. I think that's Mississippi, Alabama. Some of the states are modeling this.
They're doing well.
Yeah. So, good segue in. Obviously, a growth for us. We have budget issues coming. We know that. We'll continue to work. I'm going to have a budget slide later, so I'm not going to talk about it right now. Advanced placement. Part of our growth with advanced placement is expensive. The tests are expensive. The staffing for advanced placement courses lead to at times smaller sections of certain courses and then big sections of non-advanced placement courses. So it kind of tweaks and messes with the master schedule. I'm working with Mr. Ashton. I'm working with Dr. Crook on a plan, several plans that we can balance class sizes, still offer our advanced placement courses and support for those advanced placement courses, but do it in a fiscally responsible way. Because we need to continue those offerings, but we need to make sure in this budget crunch that we're also making sure we can staff them. And then our PLC model, we're continuing to work on our PLC model.
AP seminar is a relatively new thing that the district is doing.
Yes.
And since we're rolling that out to 100% of students, or a large percentage of students, that's very expensive. That's something that needs to continue, or how do we?
The testing component is much more expensive for AP than I shouldn't say it's more expensive than the staffing component, but it's the additional cost of testing. I mean, we're upwards of, what are we total for testing? 80-ish thousand?
Yeah, about 80.
We spend about 80,000 on student testing. I think we spend about 45 or 50 on just AP testing. The AP seminar class right now is we're having some glows and grows with that as well. It was unveiled very quickly. We're learning from other districts. There's not very many districts in the state that have AP seminar, but we're continuing to work with them in states around the country or schools around the country. We are working on, I met with Eli and I and Chad, Floyd Montiel today, working on a plan for some pre-AP training and courses for teachers at the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade level. They're going to help prepare students for those AP courses by more rigor and a little bit more AP track as their 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. That I think is going to help when those students go into AP seminar, or if they're 9th graders, AP environmental science, a little more prepared and not so like eyes wide open of what hits them when they walk into AP seminar. So, but we have really good staff at the high school that are doing the AP seminar courses. I had a meeting with the 2 teachers before break, and they're working really hard on behalf of the students. We just have a lot of kids that are overwhelmed right now with the rigor of it.
It's brand new.
And it's brand new. So we're going to have some bumps in the road, but we're working through them and we're going to continue to.
When do they do the testing? I'm sorry.
AP testing is in April. Eli, most AP tests in April? May?
Yeah, the first test is being sent, but we usually push them to the big test. So we usually don't start until the second week.
And is there an option for kiddos to opt out of the testing if they want?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, we actually have to declare back in November if students are going to take the test. So we've already had this conversation with kids, which I would say probably about in most of the non-AP seminar classes, about 80% of our students are taking the test. So it's a high number of students taking the test.
And we really tried to emphasize to the students that the tests are expensive. So if you're going to opt out, please let us know. Like, we're happy to pay for it, but If you're not, and please don't say you'll take it just to make us happy in November or October and then not show up in May. So
I mean, I've seen some of the AP curriculum online and then also what my kiddos bring home. And there's definitely a difference. I mean, it definitely prepares these kids to be working if they're going on to that college level. There's definitely a difference. So I could see the kiddos that are not super interested, where they would be feeling stressed and overwhelmed, and how also it would help people who are going to go on to college or vocational, that would help them thrive in that environment.
And
so
one of the challenges that we're facing is when we contact schools, and Mr. Ashton, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, many of the schools that we're contacting that offer a lot of AP offerings are the bigger schools in the state, the 5A, 6A schools. Most of the 4A schools have a small amount of AP and offer many more dual enrollment. So we're reaching out to schools and they're like, well, we have 2,200 students, so we can do this, this, and this. And it's like, well, we have 780. So we're having to kind of work through some bumps in the road when it comes to that. But I'm really proud of what EY and his staff are doing at the high school when it comes to AP.
Yeah, I just want to say for the record that I think that the AP work that's being done is really, really good and really important. And I would really hate to see any backwards movement on that. I think it's a really important thing for the community and for the students here.
Yeah. And I think, again, if we can start working on some of those pre-AP courses in the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade level and get those students prepared, we're going to continue to see more and more students that are voluntarily enrolling in some of the AP Calc and AP US history and government things of that nature.
And it's just as we see our first graders do far better when they've had a couple of years of preschool.
Yep.
And they're a little bit more ready for what's coming. You know, it takes a little time to get used to rigor, like if you want to use that term. But I think it's really important. That's just my 2 cents.
Next slide, David. So I presented these to our staff at that welcome back as well. I preach to staff about believing in students, believing in themselves, their colleagues. Ted Lasso, if you ever watched the show, it's great. And so I presented all of these in 4 separate slides back in August. And so I put them onto one and just retouched upon, like, remember back then, my message of believing in yourself, your students, your colleagues, the families that you're working with, that everybody's trying to do their best. I talked with staff about being better today than they were yesterday, being better tomorrow than they are today. Again, I'm a continuous improvement guy. And so I talked about that in August and retouched on that. Talked about embracing the grind. That the school year is a grind. We need to embrace it. We need to celebrate that it's a grind. If you celebrate the grind and embrace it, you're going to come out better on the other side. And then dreaming. I really preach to students about following their dreams. I always say whether like 8, 18, or 80, have a dream. And so I retouched on those with staff as well. Budget process, kind of shifting gears a little bit. I did not talk about this with staff. I'm just talking about it with you tonight because I wanted the staff message to be very positive in nature. But this is kind of what we're looking at here. Been meeting with Marina quite a bit. Michelle, Dr. Crook. I mean, we've had a bunch of meetings here at the district office. In January, each building admin is looking at analyzing kind of their priorities within their buildings, and the district office is doing the same thing within their departments. February 4th, that state revenue forecast is released, which will really tell us kind of where we're going to go. I mean, there'll be another one that comes a little bit late, or comes later, but that's the main one that's going to either, we can take a deep breath and we're going to be okay-ish, or we're going to lock the door of the district office and hunker down and really work on things. We won't lock it. But in February, the district leadership team is going to present the budget situations to each building. So we're going to go to buildings and do a short presentation of what the budget looks like, why we're in the situation we're in. So what ESSER did to us a few years ago, how we've been using reserves. We're going to also talk about what things cost. What does an administrator cost on average, a teacher, an EA? We're going to talk with them about what some of our programs pay for that are outside of the general fund. So looking at SIA, the student investment account, looking at some of our grant programs, what they pay for. So, sometimes it's easy to say, well, we should just take, this and go away with it. And it's like, that doesn't come out of the general fund. That comes out of this pot of money over here. So we're gonna have a brief overview. And then we're gonna ask them for feedback. What ideas do they have? And we did this during the Great Recession time when I was in South Lane. Our superintendent, her team came to each building and did this, and some ideas came out of it. It also helped solve some what many staff thought were initial simple ideas that work. I'll give you a great example. You go to elementary schools and you say, in really, really bad times, here's what we're facing. And many of them will say, we need to just cut high school athletics. Well, first of all, you can point out that's a very small part of the budget. Second, when Cottage Grove did that in the 90s, they lost 100 kids to Crestville School that still funded athletics, which meant they lost at the time probably 8,000 or 9,000 a kid that just walked out of the door. So it actually had a net loss. We're not even thinking about doing anything like that. That's just an example of how you can address sometimes assumptions that people have about the budget, that all of a sudden more transparency and more information, we come up with better solutions. We did come up with some solutions in South Lane when I was there from staff saying, well, what if we did this? You're like, what, that's not a bad idea. Let's go back and look at it. So we're going to do that with each building in February. And then in March and April, the district office will start preparing that proposed budget that Marina and I will take to the budget committee in May, and we're off on the budget committee process. So that's kind of where we're going to go in tackling this most likely shortfall. Questions on that budget slide? Thoughts? Everybody seem good ideas? Yeah.
I think it's a great idea, what you just described. I really look forward to hearing about the kinds of solutions that you'll come up with. And, just as we talked earlier in the year about some kind of something on each school's website or on the website that talks a little bit about data that's for parents, for adults. It never hurts to try and do some guidance and modeling about how much school costs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And doesn't have to be, complicated, but people really do not understand how it works and who makes decisions and why they make the decisions that they do. Just like, why do we have to choose from the interim assessments what's going to cost us money? That's a really good question. So things like that, I just, again, I know that takes someone to do that work, but
it'll pay dividends to us.
A little bit, just a little footnote, one at a time might also encourage adults in our community, especially if it says, what can you do?
And that's going to be a lot of the message too, at the town halls that we're going to have, that I'm going to have, in terms of getting feedback also, but providing information. So they understand what our budget looks like, and what things are paid and where it goes, and things of that nature. So,
thank you.
Yes. One more slide of updates. Just wanted to let you know, January 20th, we begin our middle of the year assessments. The 26th to 28th, the cabinet team, most of the cabinet here at the district office are going to be at the winter conference up in Salem. We're going to be doing some work with the Center for Educational Leadership Work Group in terms of administrative and principal support, and really working with our principals to continue being instructional leaders. And then some legislative advocacy. I talked about it in my board report from Friday, that Mrs. Davidson and I are going to be joining a COSA group. We did it last year in Salem and Washington, D.C. That we're going to be doing some advocacy work on the Capitol, both at the end of January and possibly early February. We're also working with possibly taking Miss Lindsay with us, or Miss Lindsay in February, because several of the legislators that were at the forum were interested in having her come up and talk with their colleagues in some committee groups. So that's being discussed and worked out. The 4th, our certified evaluation committee reconvenes for our next meeting to go over, finalize that summative rubric and start working on our observation tool. Our calendar committee is going to be meeting in early February. Michelle Barton sending out a survey to staff on some calendar items for the next school year, so we can bring a draft calendar to our board in March. And then on the 23rd, we have our winter data night from our building administrators. Next slide, please, David. A couple flyers. We have community discussion about Marshfield's campus being on the National Historic Registry coming up on February 5th. I want to thank David for putting the flyer together and also doing a lot of the legwork to get that meeting scheduled. And then I have one more coffee with the superintendent coming up. I believe that says February 11th, but I can't read that far. It does. It does. Thank you, David. At Lady Bread Bakery out in Charleston. I'm still going to be out there. I was at So It Goes Coffee last week, had a nice turnout. A lot more drop-in folks that just came in, got their coffee, visited, asked some questions, or provided some ideas, and then went to wherever they were going, whether it was work or a couple people were going to the yoga studio next door. But a really good connection. Had a couple of people sit down for 15, 20 minutes and just want to talk shop. So really good. They've been very positive events, I believe, for the district and for the community. And then lastly, I presented this slide to staff in August, and I presented again here in January, that every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best they can possibly be. So I chose to put that in my presentation for tonight to conclude. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, I believe we are going to dismiss to executive session pursuant to ORS 192.6.
No, so we have to policy.
Policy.
Oh, sorry.
I'll be extremely brief. Does anyone have any prospective policies that you would like the policy committee to review? Excellent. Then you will see here the policies that are up for first reading. There is a duplicate. We won't adopt ECAC twice. We're just going to do one. But I thought I missed it, so I added it again. That will be replacing our current policy JHFB, and that'll bring us in line with OSBA and their policy updates. So we'll continue to get updates on that policy. And then there's a new version from OSBA of EJAR, expenditure of district funds for gifts. We'll be adopting that new version. Other than that, that's all I have. Any questions?
May I make a comment on this?
Yes, please.
So the EDDC, the resuscitation decisions, I want to thank David and Superintendent Roberts for getting a legal opinion about that policy. I will say that I have no problem with the district adopting a policy that's been legally recommended. I personally significantly disagree with this policy, and I think that while this is a low likelihood situation, families are going to believe that the district will follow physician orders. And so if physician orders exist to do not resuscitate, and our policy is that we don't, I think it's incumbent upon us as a district to do our best to let our medically fragile families know that our policy is we do not honor DNRs, because in no other realm of public life are physician orders just ignored as a matter of policy, right? Like that doesn't, when physicians write orders to excuse people from work, they're excused from work. When physicians write orders to do this and that, it's not a good.
If you've had a first aid, and then go to car accident, you will employ your first aid and you are held on account, even if they had a D, right? I mean, it's more like that. It's like, because we can't know as an individual member of the school district what the DNR exists. I mean, the parents would show us.
Right, but the policy clearly states that even if they show us, we tell them we will not honor it. And so to me, it does say that. And so to me, that is the, like I said, we have a legal opinion. This is the standard across multiple districts. I'm not suggesting that we do something different than other districts, but I am suggesting that it's incumbent upon our our superintendent, our administrative regulations to have some good faith attempt to tell families that this is our policy.
It's apparently the DNR, and we should tell them.
Yeah. Do you think it would be beneficial to add to our section on the website where we list our non-discrimination policy, things like that, just as a statement that, you know, this is our policy on like a frequently asked questions, not that we frequently asked, but or something in the registration packet that denotes that. Just, you know, an asterisk at the bottom.
I think I'll defer to the administrative team to say how they want to implement this. I'm just saying this as a principle or a guiding thought is that the chance that this happens is virtually zero. But as someone who has personally experienced what it's like to do resuscitation in the setting where somebody or their family didn't want it, that's not a benign thing. And so we should just be thoughtful, particularly in a medically fragile population. People need to know that this is our policy, if at all possible.
I mean,
Not on our website, but I think if I was scrolling through and I saw that as a frequently asked question, I would kind of frown.
there should not be anybody who is attending our school who we don't know has a fragile condition. And
Yeah.
we have every expectation that those people should be informed.
Yeah.
I think that's, I agree with that.
I'm thinking about certain populations of students that would, you know, possibly be in this situation and how we can meet with families and make sure that we address this. And again, like you're saying, it's virtually, but it needs to be addressed.
Yeah,
It needs to be clearly
it's okay that this is going to be our policy. Because this is a standard across multiple entities like our own. Whether I agree with it or not is immaterial. But to do it the best we can, we need to make sure that people who are at risk of this know this is the policy.
Right, 100%. We will work on that, and I will report back how we are going to address that with that, with those families. So the words of
Any other questions for David?
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David.
So are
Now-
we done going through all of the policies now?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's really nice.
I would like these quick ones.
No, I mean, we've gone through.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought you meant,
No, I don't mean that.
no, we're not
We'll
quite.
never be.
No, we're not.
I know we'll never be.
No, but we almost are done with the policy analysis, which I think is what you're referring
Yeah,
to.
getting through getting through to now everything's hosted by OSBA.
Yes, this Thursday I stacked 21 in.
That's right.
So I got a heavy policy. We're going to use up to 2 hours if need be. But I believe we're between 20 and 30 more that are just marked for review, no changes recommended. So those tend to move pretty quickly.
And another comment I would say is that I looked through the staff dress code policy because I was expecting it to be like there's gonna be some controversy or like that is so well worded. That is like somebody spent some time making that just like
I'm sure OSBA got a bunch of calls.
Yeah.
they worked on that one.
I think that one's been changed.
But it's, I mean, the way that it's done, it's very professional. It's nicely done. So I assumed that one was gonna, you know, raise people's temperature, but it was like legally to the perfect.
Excellent.
Okay. Okay, now we're going to dismiss to executive session pursuant to ORS 192.660 subsection 2, subsection A, to consider the employment of a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent.
Oh my gosh, is that a briefcase?
Yeah, will you add?
People stay for the whole thing.
Well, I know one person
Oh,
that's
I'm done.
probably.
No, no,
Yeah. 9.
I think so.
Is that-
We were like, you have 9 o'clock meet to 9 o'clock meet.
I was really hoping we would be here till 9 o'clock today.
We won't be.
I don't think so.
If we're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
hustle it
I
up.
mean, it's only once a month.
Yeah.
Just some of our meetings recently have gone so long.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it.
You are.
You're doing a good job.
You are.
Mostly
Madam
I'm
Chair.
trying to move it along.
Thank you for all your work on this.
Yeah,
Well
well
done.
done. The same.
Well done.
And that's mostly been because of Kim's questions.
It's true.
I
Oh,
mean,
wait,
I was
he-
quiet. today.
No one,
I zipped
Now,
my lips.
listen, if we have to separate Kim and Arnie, Arnie's gonna end up all the way
We're
down
online?
there.
I know.
Arnie and I are good together.
Are we
I'm gonna
online?
put Arnie between the student reps.
Are we
Yeah.
online?
Yes.
I love
you're
it.
online.
David, are we online?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Hi, Kara.
How you guys scared me when you came back on because I forgot I was still locked in.
You're
I
the
can't believe
only
you're still
person on that
here.
screen right now.
Yeah, I just kind of kept my earbud in and forgot all about it. So have a good night, everyone.
Okay. We're back from executive session. Do I have a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we sign, or that whoever's responsible for signing the contract for Gary Roberts, appointing him as our superintendent for $190,000. That we move forward on that
For the first year.
for the first year. And yes,
Is there a second? Did you second it? Okay. Is there any discussion? Nope. Arnie?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Derek?
Aye.
Kevin?
All the same.
You abstain? Katie?
aye.
Diane?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So we have a contract.
Thank you.
You will sign it.
We want to clarify that that is the 204,185 place benefits.
Yeah, total compensation.
Yeah, total compensation, absolutely.
Okay. We're on to board items. We have one leave of absence extension request. And I think Gary would like to speak to this.
Yeah, so the staff member they have there in front of you is on year 2 of sabbatical. The contract states that they are given 2 years. They can apply for an additional year. I think they can apply for a stay, as the board will allow, but they can apply, but they're guaranteed to by contract. The staff they have in front of you has done a great job for us in the past, is asking that it goes forward another year. My concern is budgetary. I have the staffing to, well, I anticipate having the staffing when this person comes back that will be able to shuffle and move some things around and keep the integrity of the counseling departments and so not multiple buildings intact. I'm very concerned about what that could look like the following year if we were to extend this an additional year. We don't know what's coming in 2027. And I know of our counseling department that could be possibly looking at a reduction in force of someone that's now been with us for 3 years that we're going to have to turn around and say, we're sorry, we don't have a position for you because somebody's coming back from sabbatical, where I don't anticipate, very much don't anticipate that being the case in this budget cycle.
And so when I read it, she's asking for just 1
She's asking
year.
for one
more
additional
year.
year, so
But-
now a 3rd year.
Okay, so to not come back next year, and that's the year that you're worried about?
That's the year I'm worried about. When we get to this time next year in budget cycle, budget of 2027, I'm very much worried about what that could do for us in terms of staff.
So the alternative is to terminate basically and then rehire if,
Well, it would be,
because she'd lose her seniority is basically what it would be.
No, she doesn't. She would continue if we grant her another year.
No,
of
I'm
Don't
saying
grant it.
the
don't.
alternative.
Oh, if we don't grant it, she would need to make the decision on coming back and having a position that's guaranteed by her contract.
Right.
Or she could say, I'm choosing to resign
Yeah,
and stay
basically.
in Rio. de
and then
Janeiro.
I'll reapply when I come back. There's a job open. The only thing that bothered me was the the job I want isn't available now, so I'd like another year off. Till maybe it is available. And I don't know why it would be any different next year.
It's in her expertise, I'm assuming, because that's like what she had said that her counseling was, but it doesn't.
I think it's a little bit of the avenue of counseling that she would like to
Right.
go into for the district, but I don't anticipate that we're gonna have the position that she's interested in the following year. Maybe.
What's the precedent? Is there a precedent that's been set about, years of sabbatical? Has anyone ever been granted 3 years?
Not in my time in the district, but I can only speak to my 7 years here in the district. I don't recall anybody being granted an additional year past the 2.
And is there anything in policy?
Just that they're guaranteed 2 by their contract, and then after that, I don't know if it reads
They
at
can
board
ask.
discretion or. if
That
they-
contract?
No, is there anything in board policy, an additional year of sabbatical after the 2?
I don't believe so.
I think it's just you can appeal to the board for an additional year.
I mean, I guess, I don't know, much about it, but I might caution the setting of precedent of, granting a 3rd year. I mean, that, you know, rather than sticking with what the contract says.
The contract says we can grant, and it's not
Okay.
setting a precedent.
Okay.
No, it's
Well,
not setting a
ask
precedent.
for
I
a
just
third.
don't recall of anybody asking for
Never
even a
asked.
3rd year. Usually by the end of the 2nd year, they've kind of decided if that avenue that they're on is the one that they want to go down, or they come back.
It sounds to me like you're thinking you don't want this.
I'm very concerned. I would like the employee to make a decision on whether they want to rejoin us. Or
Having, accepting uncertainty from this employee going into budgetary uncertainty could tie our hands in a bad way. And so it's better for the district if we know one way or the other, are you coming back or not? And if we say, okay, yes, you can decide to come back in 3 years, and then that person comes back when we've had giant slash in our budget, and we have to remove people who've been working for us because she has seniority, or this person has seniority over other people, it puts us in a bad situation.
As I'm reading this policy, I don't know that you guys have a choice, because the policy states leaves may be granted for up to 2 years.
So
And-
I'd like to read the contract
and-
language if possible.
Yeah.
So leave of absence, except for reasons qualifying under federal, state, or protected leave, a leave of absence greater than or equal to 61 days up to 2 years may be granted to any bargaining unit member upon application and approval from the board. The application must state the reason for the requested leave. Leave requests for less than 61 days shall be approved by the Human Resources Director. There's nothing referring to time greater than 2 years.
It sounds like,
And when she met with Michelle, this employee met with Michelle and Eli, and at that time, Michelle said, you have the right to
Michelle was
appeal
mistaken.
but it doesn't appear that that's in the
No,
contract
I mean,
or board policy.
that's how I'm reading that.
read it out loud to us again.
I'll read the kind of preamble to it.
Okay.
So a leave of absence may be granted to any teacher upon application and approval of the board, the teacher's position on the salary schedule, and all benefits to which the teacher was entitled at the time of the leave, including seniority and unused accumulated sick leave, shall be restored upon return. Leaves may be granted for up to 2 years. I mean, and there's obviously more to policy, but that's the point.
Well, it sounds like it's out of our hands, so good luck with that.
Can I ask a quick question too? Let's say, obviously it's out of our hands. That made it very easy for us. But if she does come back and there's a position open, you don't have to hire her at step 1, do you?
No.
No.
She's right back on the salary scale where
No, you mean if
No,
she
if she-
quit and then
If
came
she
back?
quit and came back.
No, then she would be back at the beginning.
The
wouldn't she?
difference is,
No, because experience,
the
right?
leave- the difference
right.
is
Yeah,
the leave
she-
guarantees her the job.
yes.
Equivalent, basically.
Right, and a job.
The job.
And when she resigns, she doesn't get that guarantee.
We should be guaranteeing a job when we're going into uncertainty.
I agree.
Well, we already have a lot of jobs guaranteed. I mean,
Yeah, no, I know, but this is
I mean,
one,
that's part of it. You know,
this is a,
it's the way it operates.
So talk to Michelle.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
I-
check and make sure Michelle doesn't know something we didn't.
I'll check in with Michelle one more time. She was on vacation, so we were kind of communicating via text and email. Yeah. And
Clearly, even if Michelle said it's a possibility, we don't have to prove it.
Right.
That's
Um,
true.
And I think we need to take action. Do we need to take
No.
action tonight?
No, if it's not under our purview, we don't take action on it unless Michelle comes back and says,
She's appealing it.
no, it's not up to us. Unless she comes back and says, well, this policy
If we-
superseded.
Yeah,
and-
if
and
we
they-
miss something, we'll bring it back. If
Yeah,
not, I'll make the decision.
Okay.
we
And
cannot
if
make a
I'll make the
decision.
decision and go with it.
Exactly.
Okay.
But if we miss something that Michelle comes back, no, wait a minute, it's actually in here, we'll bring it back for February. If not,
Exactly.
I'll
Okay.
take care of it.
And how long did you work for the school district?
6 years.
6 years?
big picture question.
Yeah.
The granting of sabbaticals and things like that, I mean, as part of our current contract, is that normal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every district I've worked in has had a sabbatical, and
Yeah.
several
It's an
people will,
education thing.
several people will use it to go teach abroad for a couple years, or to go.
Or
Yeah,
go
they'll-
get a degree, an advanced degree or a
Yes.
specialty, you know, do a lot of specialty.
I mean, I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that. I just, is it something that, should continue in future?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Why?
I think because it provides most of the time, 90% of the time, the teacher leaves for 1 or 2 years and comes back. And when they come back, it
There's an
brings some sort of
enrichment.
value and enrichment to the district.
And it's something that's done across the nation.
Yeah, it's
If we were
very
to take
common,
this out, I mean, that would be a huge,
real
yeah.
common thing.
It's
Some-
not,
we don't always have
places
to grant
actually-
them, but.
Some the universities actually give a partial payment.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, they do.
Buck and
Yeah,
Buck,
they pay
uh,
you.
we got some
But I
money.
think also a lot of organizations that used to grant sabbatical don't anymore.
Yes.
Right, so sabbatical used to be part of the medical profession and it's not anymore.
Really?
It's like, people, if you're gonna do a sabbatical, there is no, paid sabbaticals in medicine anymore. People go and apply for grants through things and take dramatic pay cuts and so I think maybe the big difference here is that we don't pay anything
We don't.
for people.
No.
They're just
Yeah.
getting a leave of absence.
Yeah, that's
So
basically,
basically in the medical field, you would get a leave of absence if you wanted to go doctor's report without orders or something like that. You couldn't come back unless you were in the military and had some kind of.
Well,
I think he's a doctor, so he might be.
We'll take all different markets.
But no, we don't
Yeah.
pay, we don't pay
Okay.
anything. It doesn't cost us anything.
Most-
The only thing they get is job rights to come
Yes.
back and what those look like. They get their leave bank.
and
put
it's
back in place and
universities
things
that
like
do that, and it's not high schools or. school
and I think we need
districts.
to continue to invest in the teaching and the learning of our faculty.
I asked the question to
Don't
learn,
pay.
so that's helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question.
okay,
Question.
last on our agenda is board member highlights. Do we have any? Arnie?
I will say, as I said, I would explain it more. We had, and my other board member, we did meet about the radio station and our 2 transmitters or whatever that we have that are broken. And we have a new engineer who has done a really great job from everything we've heard and then analyzing what went wrong. And he believes clearly that all of the damage was done by a lightning strike. So we're trying to make sure that we get all that information into the insurance company, and we're hopeful that the insurance company will pay it because for the AM station to fix it, about 40,000.
Yes.
And it's about 10,000 for the FM because one plays off the other. You can't have the FM without the AM station. So we're hopeful that that will happen. At the same time, our new person has already gone out and started getting contracts. So hopefully we'll start getting those in. Okay, 5 this week.
Good.
Which means we'll start getting some money back again, which would be really helpful. And our person that was teaching the class went back to Florida. And while he was there, hurt his back or something. We don't know exactly because he has not responded to us. Other than to say he's not coming back, basically. So that's what put us in the position we need to find something. So we've had a a short, long-term sub. Had a sub going with this. Everybody loves her. She's really great, but she acknowledges she doesn't know anything about what she's doing. As is the case with almost anybody that would be taking that class. So we put it out for this, and we had one person who had originally, when we hired the last one, I put his name in. We went and checked on, but apparently they're not coming. Before.
No, Alabama.
Alabama.
Well, you know, he's still in the running.
Is he still in the running?
Yeah, but when he originally applied, when Eli had reached out for interviews, he didn't respond. Trying to find out he had no cell service, no range.
Oh.
So when he got back, he responded with, "Hey, did I miss it? Can I interview?" And he said, "Yeah, sorry, we hired." He's now back in the picture for as an option. So
we do have some other options, and they're going through the process. And hopefully by February of the new semester, we'll have a teacher back in place.
Perfect.
Who wants to be here for long term and won't hurt himself. Anyway, so we don't know all the particulars. We don't need to know. It's just that we need a new teacher. And we're in the process of doing that. And I think our hire for running the station is going really well. So I'm pleased with it.
and like a lot of things nowadays, the transmitters that we're putting in, the installation is more than the transmitters themselves. Yeah. So the transmitter is 16,000 and the installation is like 24 on 8 AM.
And the other thing is that many of us went to was the ESD gathering for all of the people in our ESD. And I thought that went really, really well. It was a good meeting, and Dr. Rogowski answered and asked a lot of questions.
Good work, Dr. Rogowski. Thank you.
It's just a shame that all of our legislators are in the minority.
It is a shame. It is a shame that the Coastal Caucus used to be a real powerful group because half of us are Democrats and half of us are Republicans.
Yeah,
So
it's
we were
just a
able to do
shame.
stuff. Now there's only one Democrat in the whole Coastal Caucus. So
Oh, wow.
it makes it harder.
Well, maybe things will change.
But we do have people who get along. Our
Yeah.
four get along with the Democrats. They
Yes.
do work across there. So I give them a lot of credit for that.
Oh, my goodness. Good times. We participated in gift wrapping all those presents, and it was a really good night. My husband was up there in the pictures because I had walked him into going, and so, yeah, we had a good time with the students.
Attended a varsity basketball game this past Friday, watched our Pirates defeat the Cottage Grove team. It was a really well played game. I want to really highlight the pep band sounded great, really contributed to the environment. It's a big contingent of them there. The dance team put on a really great halftime performance. And the boys team that I watched, just great hustle and sportsmanship throughout the game, and it came out the better team. So that's a good event.
Perfect.
Yeah, Arnie covered everything on radio, so I was there to back him up, I guess. That's what he said. And then I attended our surplus auction, which was pretty fun. My family's always been involved in auction, so I like the district's doing that.
Did you get anything? Did you?
Oh, I'm bidding on all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I understand you bought a truck that doesn't work.
Two
that don't work.
Yeah, it happens.
Oh, no.
No, they said they didn't run.
Oh, okay. I was, yeah. Okay.
No, they said on there they didn't run.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. I
You
attended
bought
our
it, it
facilities
didn't run,
meeting
that'd be
too.
a visitor.
Kevin.
What's that?
I said I attended the facilities meeting too. Did the-
Yes, thank
the
you.
tour of all
Yes.
Mama has done at the Elder Crest, and
Which is really impressive.
oh yeah, it looks great.
I just want to highlight Destination's Christmas party was the bomb. For all of you who didn't go next year.
Yes.
It was amazing. You walked in and the room was just like a winter wonderland. And I video of the kids coming in the door, and you could just see their faces all of a sudden go, or look at this. The boys would come in and be like with big eyes, and it was really nice. They had a lot of things that went on, and every kid got recognized and acknowledged, and it was very nice.
I was able to attend it last year.
Yeah.
It's really nice. How many board members were able to go?
Pardon me?
How many board members were able to go?
Diane and I.
Nice. Thank you guys for representing.
It was fun.
I'm going to be getting over to Milner, to Destinations and to Little Pirates this month, 3 days.
How
Scheduled.
exciting.
Yes,
The littles
yes, and the bigs.
and the bigs.
The bigs. For me, same thing. I did gift wrapping with Kim. That was actually really fun.
So fun.
That was a good time. So many gifts. And then I did the destination and it was really nice. Kayla and her team did a phenomenal job. Oh, you were there too, Gary. That was,
Yeah.
and the food was good. Marina was there. It was really nice. The kids were appreciative. They had a nice like place where people could take pictures and they could get a holiday picture. That was really nice. And then I did concessions. Everybody should do concessions once in their life. I have a hard time telling I can't think of her name right now. Patterson. No, and so I did concessions for the holiday basketball tournament. No, it was fun. It's good to get to know the spectators and then
And everyone's in a good mood.
and then people that have been coming to games for 50 years.
Yeah.
And they're getting their regular popcorn and their Diet Pepsi and it's nice. So that's about it for me. Yeah. Good.
Well, good board meeting.
Yes.
I think that's it. If there's nothing else, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Right.
Good.